Schicken Sie uns ein MG-42-Trupp.
Sagen Sie dem Kommandostab, wir greifen an. Sie sollen Verstärkung schicken.
Aton, as you were. Good evening. It's good to see you, Colonel. I take it that you have been faring well? I'm sure. Every day is a good day when ridding the world of the last of the Bolshevik pigs. I am assuming that your men are very, very ready for what is expected of them tomorrow. Tomorrow we take the last step in invading the world of the last of the Bolshevik Schwein. Their blood will be about them. Do you understand this? Because if you are not behind this, then they will not be either. It is us that need to be present before they will be present. Now let us go. We will inspect these men. See what kind of killers we have. I have been hearing much from the Wehrmacht of your successes across the land. The Eastern Front as the Americans come west. We have heard much of your successes. I understand. Well, as the Führer has stated multiple times that he sees this as the most important front of the war. He sees the Soviet pigs as worse of a threat to our way of life than the Americans. I do not know why. It seems that the Americans have more guns. They are better. They have better shots than some of these Bolshevik dogs. They barely even have homes. They cannot even feed themselves, much less fight the Aryans. I find this very, very, very hard to comprehend. Okay. Now, let us see these men. Aton! So many boys. So many boys. I wanted men, not boys. How come I possibly send these boys into battle? What are they, grade school? I'm sure they are. Do they know what is expected of them? I see. Well, we will see. We will see tomorrow. Exactly how well they know what is expected of them. We will see. As you were, men. Tomorrow, we embark on the great crusade to rid this world of the communists and replace it with the last ashes of the fascist Reich. We will restore the land that was lost in the wars of the past, and bring back order to the land under one flag, the flag of the Germans, Hail, Deutschland. For it is us, Kameraden. It is us that will bring about this change. And it only us will lead this to victory. We can feel pride, strong pride in our German heritage. For no other nation on earth has had the ability to raise up such strong, capable men as you so quickly. I see the fire of the German spirit in your eyes, but I warn you, tomorrow's task will not be easy. You will be facing walls and walls of Bolshevik pig dogs. They are cunning, they are savage, and they must be brought to justice. You are under good leadership. One of the best men I know. Steiner will truly lead you, faithfully and truly, in the battle. That I can count on. I thank you. As you were. Now, let us go back to my quarters. I have a bottle of scotch that has been waiting just for a night like this. Of course, my friend. It is on the house.
Now, my friend, let us drink to our youth. Things are not looking up for the men on the Eastern Front. I mean the Western Front. The Americans and the British are very resilient to most German attacks. It is become very concerning. Especially the British are very they're killing us. They're killing us in the south. Rommel is a cunning general, but he cannot stand up to he is outgunned. He is outgunned in the south by the British forces, and in the west, the Americans are definitely outgunning the Wehrmacht and the SS. The Führer is becoming increasingly aware of the Soviet presence in the east, closing in on Berlin. I fear the worst, comrade. I fear the worst. I wonder if the Führer has a plan for getting out of Berlin. I do not know. It is unthinkable that he would not plan for this. I remember in the early days of the Reich, when the Führer first took power. This was amazing. We felt unstoppable. We were to conquer the world, reclaim Germany for the greater good. But now that seems not but stories. Just stories, my comrade. Just stories. I remember. In 1935, back when the Führer was still in his lower position. Adolf Hitler, he did not take power until 39, I believe. Oh, but this was it 38? It's been so long and so much has happened. I could say it seems to escape me. He served several years as a chairman, political figure, before he took power. Some believe he took it by force, by corruption. I don't know. It would not surprise me. However, my loyalty was always to the Wehrmacht. It was never to the Führer. He's a very crazed, demanding man. What has been obtained these last years has nothing to do with the Führer. It was all the efforts of the brave men and women in the Wehrmacht and the SS. It is nothing to do with the Führer. The Führer is a crazed maniac. Rommel agrees with it. Rommel hates him. Gangl hates him. Many Germans hate him. Many generals hate him. I personally do what I have to do as a general to keep it out of the way of the Führer. I don't like the Führer. I serve the Führer because it is my job. I do not like him. I do not like his diplomacy. I will never execute a German on the French Foreign Legion. He gave us the order. Said, if you find any Germans in the French Foreign Legion, immediately execute him. I will not do that. I will never execute the prisoner. I will never execute the prisoner. I did not do it in the First World War, and I will not do it now. Because it is unethical. It is not to be done. I will not do it. American, Soviet, French, I do not care. I will not do it. Now, if one of my own men threatens his other men, I will take my own man's life. If he threatens the squad or threatens to desert, we cannot have any deserters. We cannot. That would put the rest of us at risk. However, back when I was still a lieutenant, back in 1937, we went on a scouting expedition in the northern Alps of Germany, near where Hitler would soon build his eagle's nest. The Führer's eagle's nest is a big mountain retreat that looms over Germany. It is very, very beautiful, very beautiful. I have actually been there one time. When the Führer originally took power, I saw this mountain and I said I knew that would be a great place for a palace. And soon enough, several years later, the Führer has built, and he has not used it very much. But that tower is one beautiful place, and I can understand why he wanted it there. It's a very, very luxurious place. It sits on the peak of mountain, and that's where he sits there. It's a very nice place up in the Alps. A beautiful view. But I was on a scouting expedition in the Alps with some other comrades and the main of the platoon, and spitting snow all over the place. It was in the dead of winter. Of course, I was with a group of Wehrmacht sent on a scouting expedition by an SS officer. We got up there, and we were told to look for a possible command center location to build a radio command center. And we were told that this is the type of area we needed, and it would be in this general area. I was given a map and told this is a general area in which we need this bunker to be built. And I said, alright. And so I gathered up the men, and we went up there. We had three jeeps. It was 3 jeeps and 4 mobile troop carriers. And 1 motorcycle. So we had a pretty nice convoy going through there. And so we got up there. This was right as soon as the Führer took power. It was in late. Very, very early. And once the SS was established after the Führer took power. This was several years ago. So we were going through the mountain. We're passing through the pass. Everyone was laughing and smoking and telling stories. And the drivers were driving and they were laughing along with us. And we were going up this mountain pass. Like I said, spitting snow. Only things we could do is laugh and talk and tell jokes to keep us from freezing to death. And what happened was, we got this point in the mountain, which you could crest over, and you were able to see this magnificent view. But it was very blurry, just the snow and all. And we continued up after that. We took a right and continued up this mountain. But at that point, I remember looking up on the side of the mountain and seeing 2 men. And I was told from my comrades, I was like, what is this? What are they doing here? They're not supposed to be up here. We were supposed to be the only expedition to be up there. The 2 men were standing up there. One looked like scouts, like they were scouting out the area. So I immediately thought, are they German? So I radioed in to my Führer, and I told him, I said, this is what we just saw. He said, do not worry about it. Mind your business and mind your mission. I said, alright, understood. So we continued up the mountain pass. And we eventually found a location for where we were supposed to build our bunker. And come to find out, it became a very successful bunker, and many radio transmission came to it. But I did not find out until later. Those 2 men, they were searching for allocation for a more important installation. A V6 rocket. The Führer wanted to build atomic bomb. See, Americans don't know it, but Hitler caught on to their atomic bomb idea. By this time, very early on, the atomic bomb was being researched months and months before this war started. The atomic bomb was not the Americans' idea. This has been an idea that has been thought of many times, but never really carried out. The V6 rocket would have been a rocket with a nuclear warhead on the end of it. German scientists have been far superior to American scientists for years. These rockets were basically the primitive atomic. Well, they were basically just the primitive nuclear ballistic missile that they were the great-great-grandfather to the nuclear missiles. They're very, very, very. They could have been very dangerous, but luckily the research was never really verified. They were too dangerous to test, and the money, due to lack of funds, the Führer had the idea scrapped. But you can still to this day go up and see the giant rocket foundry that is still up there in the Alps these days, or so I've heard. Even so many years ago, almost been a decade now, and they're still there. The factory's still there. The factory's run down and abandoned, but it was basically the very basics of what could have been a nuclear war room built for the Führer himself, where they would launch rockets that would hit Moscow, Berlin, or in Berlin in the case that the Allies took control of it, or Liverpool, or Dublin, or Paris, or Washington, or any of these places. This was a very, very apocalyptic thinking man. Hitler is. He still is. And I think it's going to become worse. I will tell you one more story, my friend, before we both must go. Back in 1935, back before Hitler took power, Hitler was a chancellor, or he had some sort of political importance at the time. He was very close to the political leaders in Germany at the time before he took power. He wanted a special factory built, and this factory would build these very large tanks, and there is still schematics for the tanks that had been drawn up for him. See, what happened was, there was a man, and if his name escapes me, Hitler was basically designing the Reich way before he ever took office. Hitler has been designing the Reich ever since he was hit with the gas back in World War One. He's been designing the Reich for years. And so the second he took any kind of political power, he immediately started forming connections. And this includes the tank builders and the firearm manufacturers, the those who could provide him with chemical weapons if he needed them. Zyklon B being one of them, which came from Los Angeles, California. Zyklon B began its research in California, but it was a served a different purpose than what it was used in Nazi Germany. So he got with this man by the name of, I forgot exactly what the name was, but and he said, "This is what we need to do. We need a tank that can hold massive amounts of men and be virtually indestructible on the battlefield." The man said, "This is a very hard thing to do. It's not like you can just manufacture these things." The schematics they came up with would have been the equivalent of a land battleship. A land battleship. Could you imagine this? Carrying hundreds of men in one tank. So impractical. It could have been easily hit by airstrike. It could have been easily destructed. All you would have to do is be stealthy, and you could have destroyed these tanks. But they were massive. They would have been hard to take down initially. But I am no engineer as far as warfare. I fight the wars. I don't build the weapons. But I'm telling you, that is a very, very dangerous thing that they could have created. Not because of its lethality, but it could have got many men killed. But I've seen the schematics, and these things that have been close to 50 to 60 yards long. Massive tanks. Well, comrade, I have taken up enough of your time. It is time we both be getting into the sleep. We have a big day tomorrow. God be with us both. I will be with you. I will be alongside you. I will not be out fighting with you, but I will be here. I must be on call because I am currently waiting to be deployed to the Africa Corps to fight the British in the south. Well, I appreciate the time you have taken here to listen to an old army man babble on about his experiences. So I thank you very much. Well, I guess this is good night, my friend, and have a very, very peaceful sleep. Guten Tag.